Hi, welcome back, dear students and my friends. Welcome to my channel GG Agra or Techie Krish. So, in Python tutorial today, I am going to discuss a class which is none other than the list. Because list, we used to discuss list, tuples, dictionary frequently, but this time I am going to discuss list in detail, how to use list and what is the list and what are the classes and what are the methods belong to the lists and what are the objects and what is the constructor. So this all we will be discussing in this video. So let's move to our presentation. So see here. So going to discuss the list in Python. So what is a list? So first we'll discuss classes, objects and methods. So before we start with list, tuples and dictionaries, it is important to have an idea of the classes, objects and methods. We know that computers are used for data processing, as we know. So whenever we say data, it means some facts and figures like marks, names, prices, codes, etc. These facts and figures data always belong to some objects. For example, in an attendance register, the data of the students or employees' attendance is stored. So this is the object. So attendance, since attendance is stored, here each student or the employee is an object. Correct? When you do data processing, we have to handle multiple objects of the same kind. Means, for example, in a school, all the students are different objects of the same class or same type, means same class. In a computerized billing system, all the items are the different objects of the same type. Means if I talk about the groceries like soap, bathing soap. So there is a Lux, there is Rexona. So these are the objects but belong to the bathing soap. So the soaps are the object but the class is the soap. And different objects are Rexona, Lux, etc. We use the term class for a type. So we can say that all students are objects of the same class. Means if I say X is a student of class 10th, means X is the object and 10th class is the class, and all the items are the objects of the same class, means all the students of 10th class are the objects but the class is 10th. The function of class is called a method. Functions in the class, whichever function is known as the method. So if multiple functions belong to the same class, those functions are termed as the methods. So these are the basics. In Python, even basic data types are objects, and these objects are instances of the specific classes. For example, any integer value is an object of int class. Any floating value or floating point value is an object of float class, and so on. Python provides built-in classes also, like int, float, str, bool and complex to represent these fundamental data types. Okay, so still we are discussing classes, objects and methods. So list, tuple and dict or dictionary are also inbuilt classes in Python. I'll give you some insights using the MCQs and the questions based on these types or these classes. So you must be knowing, or you must have the great depth on these types or on these classes. A class has multiple function members, which are called methods. Each class has at least one method, which is very special method, and this method has the name identical to the class. Such a method is called the constructor of the class. So if int is a class, then int function or int method within the class is a constructor of int class. Okay. A constructor allocates the memory. What does constructor do? A constructor allocates the memory to the objects of the class and can also use to assign initial values, because the aim of the constructor is to initialize with initial value to the data members. Okay, suppose I declare a variable like age in the class. So using the constructor, I'll initialize that age component or age variable by some value, maybe 0. But this initialization will be done by the constructor of the class. Hope this is clear. So without going into further details, let us recall that we have used we use the function call functions like int, float, and etc. These functions are constructor of their respective classes. Similarly, lists, tuples, dict are the constructor of classes list, tuple, and dict. Okay, respectively. So see here, a list is, what is a list? So list is a sequence of elements. The simplest way to create a list is to put the elements of the list in square brackets. So if you want to create a list or you want to manage a list, so all the elements which you want to be the part of the list, they should be enclosed within the square brackets. Okay, so this way we can create the list. For example, following is a list of 5 colors. Like I declared a list having the following colors like red, green, pink, black, and orange. So there are 5 colors, and you see, if you observe this, all these colors are mentioned in the square, enclosed in the square brackets. So this is called a list. So if you give a prominent name, like if I give the name color here, usually a list is assigned to a variable name. For example, the following statement: color is equal to red, green, pink, black, orange, means this is a list. So the name given to the list is color. Okay. Also, this assigns the list of 5 colors to the variable color. The elements in a list are ordered or numbered starting from 0. So if you have a list, every element possesses one index. Okay, so first element index is 0, second element index is 1, third element index is 2, and so on. These numbers are called the indices. Correct? Python supports negative indices also. In case of negative indices, -1 is the index of the last element. So if you see this list, red, green, pink, black, orange, so the index of red is 0, index of green is 1, and so on. As far as the reverse index is concerned, -1 is the index for orange, -2 is the index of black if you traverse it from right to left. Okay, next. So see here, see the table. All those colors like red, green, pink, black, and orange I have mentioned the indices of every element. So 0 is the index of red, 1 is the index of green, 2 is the index of pink, and so on. And when we traverse in reverse order, means in backward order, then the -1 will be the index of the last element, -2 second last element, -3 means when you move right to left, the indices will be -1, -2, -3, and so on. And when you move left to right, the indices are 0, 1, 2, and 3. And these lists can be processed using the method. There are two methods by which we can access the element of a list. So first method is by using the list name and index number directly. For example, if I say print color 2, it displays the element of index 2. This is pink. And if I say print color -2, it means we are moving right to left. So -2 means the black, and it is corresponding to +3. Means -2 corresponds to 3 and 3 corresponds to -2, vice versa. So color -2 will display black, and color 3 will also display black. Hope this is clear. And second method is the for loop. By using the loop where the range is specified by the list name. For example, for I in color, so color is the list and this is the object. For I in color, print I and end. So I will take the value from color object. So when you say for I in color, so it'll read the first index, that is 0. So it will read the red, then green and pink and black and so on. So it displays red, green, pink, black and orange. This way we can say that the items in the list can be traversed left to right and right to left using the indices. So this is how we can initiate the list in Python. So hope you understood the concept of the list and basics of the list, and what are the classes and what are the indices and the methods and what are the constructors. I think you have the idea right now. So we'll be discussing more on list in my next video. That's all for today. So we'll meet in the next video. Till then, bye bye.